You know that feeling when something is so terrible that when you're doing some self-reflection and self-growth, you need to pause that self-reflection just to rant about said terrible thing? Yeah, that's the Snow White 2025 remake for me. Anyway, let's get back to the meat and potatoes of this video, shall we? My name is Lex, and I am a very big Disney fan. I grew up watching classic Disney movies such as Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, and of course, the original Snow White. I've always loved these stories, and seeing these characters overcome their struggles and find their happily ever after was always a nice outcome. These stories, which were often shown to a young girl who didn't have many friends, struggled severely with fitting in, and wasn't always treated right, gave me hope that I too would find my own happily ever after. Snow White, the original 1937 version, was created when Disney was still a fledgling studio, known only for silly little cartoons. The US was going through rough times after the stock market crash in the late 1920s, and the original project was called Disney's Folly due to its high cost and very low public expectations. Disney risked his entire livelihood to make that movie, and the hard work of his artists paid off. Not only did Snow White help launch the start of this legendary studio, it also showed the world that animation was an art form and should be respected on par with traditional mediums such as sculpture and painting. The character of Snow White herself, contrary to popular belief, is in fact not a doormat. She is a very kind and young girl who had to flee from everything that she has ever known. She cries in the haunted forest because she is scared, not because she is a weak person. Like many girls her age, she dreams of her future, and in her future, she hopes to one day find her Prince Charming. I don't know why modern retellings of old stories like to act like it, but wishing for love is not a weakness. When she arrives at the cottage of the seven dwarfs, she at first believes the house belongs to orphaned children. She comes up with the idea to clean up the house for them. Not just because she feels bad for them, but because she has the idea that whoever lives here may ask her to stay with them if she can prove that she can pull her weight around the house. She gets the dwarfs to change their messy ways, making sure that they're well washed, well fed, and she spends time with them when all the work is finished. Her effect on the dwarfs is so great that all of them, including Grumpy, who didn't want her around for the longest time, are absolutely devastated when they find her motionless, and even go and get justice against the evil queen because they loved Snow White so much. Throughout the original movie, Snow White overcomes her terrible circumstances and never becomes jaded or angry at the world because of them. She still wishes for love and shows kindness to others despite nobody showing it to her. This was a message that 1930s America needed, a story with a happy ending, something that gave these people a hopeful message. Fast forward over 70 years later, and the legacy of Snow White is at risk of being tarnished by modern Disney's never-ending need to correct whatever problems they feel the original movie had. In the Mulan remake, Mulan becomes Wonder Woman instead of going through one of the very best training montages in cinema. The Little Mermaid changed lyrics of the songs in it to be more socially correct, and Lion King 2019 shouldn't count as live action just because it's The Lion King, but reanimated to look more realistic. The lead actress playing Snow White, Rachel Ziegler, has also faced a lot of negative criticism over her projecting her personal beliefs towards the original movie, such as saying that the prince stalks Snow White and the movie is outdated, despite the fact the prince only appears in the movie for maybe 5 minutes tops. One major issue around the movie, aside from Rachel's comments, was Disney's refusal to hire dwarf actors to play the seven dwarfs due to the comments of actor Peter Dinklage. The final release of the movie had the dwarves CGI'd in, and they don't look very great. One example of modern Snow White is that she is not called Snow White because of her appearance, which was the whole point of her name in the original fairy tale and the Disney version. She is called Snow White because she was born during a snowstorm. That's like if my parents named me Labor and Delivery Unit. Public support of the movie is less than low, with the movie having around a 1.6 out of 10 rating on IMDb as I record this in early April 2025. My question to modern Disney is this: why do you feel the need to change the stories so many people fell in love with for years? If the answer is because they want to add diversity, well then stop changing the old movies and go on Google and look up fairy tales. It takes about 5 minutes. There are dozens of stories from Slavic, Asian, and African folklore, just to name a few, that modern Disney could go with instead of changing old characters. There's also old fairy tales such as Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears that they could go with as well. They don't care about telling good stories, about capturing that Disney magic. Really, they don't care about diversity either. They only care about cashing off the love people had for the original movie because nostalgia is a guaranteed way to make money. Electronic Arts, otherwise known as EA, has re-released The Sims 1 and 2 for the Sims franchise anniversary, and despite many users complaining of bugs, the game still sold thousands of units if the Steam chart numbers are anything to go by. I have loved the stories that Disney has given us for over a century, and I'm actually going to see The Lion King with my friends in Toronto later this month for my birthday. I have many of the songs on my personal Spotify playlist. I play Dreamlight Valley as my own form of therapy, and I've said it many times that Disney needs to make something new because their legacy depends on it. Walt Disney is turning in his grave, and the last thing anybody wants is an Irishman yelling at them, never mind an Irish ghost. This is technically my second rant video in as many years to include a funky word in the title, the first being my Netflix Cleopatra video, which also happened to be my very first rant video. Oh well. I'm back, and I've discovered that my life purpose is to yell at things, apparently. This is also, ironically, a remake of an older video that I had originally done, which was removed because of a very not nice lady. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more of my content, then please subscribe to Sweet Histortea, a channel full of random facts, lots of sparkles, and tons more videos to come in the future. Thank you so much again for watching, and until next time, bye-bye!
There's a part of myself